Hey, welcome back. Thanks for tuning back in. Time to start on another project here. So what do we have here? Let's take a look. Oh, Toto. I have a feeling we're not in Kansas anymore. All right, so what's going on with this? This truck belongs to my friend Jeff Banghart, lives out in Omaha. And this truck, the rolling chassis, pretty much everything you see here, was built by Dan Bastian, um, part of our Team Ford bros, over at Build It, Wheel It, Explore It. Check him out on YouTube and on Instagram. Dan has got many, many videos of everything that he's done to this truck, building the suspension, the axles, braking system, everything. This has a Chevy Silverado 5.3 liter LS and some automatic transmission. Like I said, I am out of place here. I am not a Chevy guy. I'm still surprised every day that I come out here that I have a Chevy powered Ford truck in my garage that I'm working on. So, yeah, it's very different for me. So anyway, what have I been commissioned to do? So, truck needs a cooling system. So I have a radiator, needs to be modified. I'm going to be fitting a radiator to this, coming up with coolant lines for everything, radiator hoses, getting all of that hooked up, plumbed up. So far, I've done the conversion to cable drive because I guess this motor stock is drive-by-wire. And I'm going to do a little bit of freshening of the engine compartment. Truck is in really good shape for original paint and everything. It's got some rust, and it's just age. It's an '84. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be just basically cleaning the firewall, because the firewall looks good on the truck. I'll clean it up, wash it up, polish it up, leave it yellow, but everything from these aprons forward, I'm going to be blacking out, and I think that'll look actually really good. So my first order of business is basically kind of pulling everything off the core support, the fender aprons, so I can get to everything. I got to take care of all this rust. I have some rust converter. Going to treat everything, prime it, hit it with some semi-gloss black, and then I'll throw everything back together. Once that part is done, I can actually start assembling and building stuff. Get the radiator mounted, come up with a radiator mount, the hoses, whatnot. And then from there, there's a few other small things that I got to pick away at, like, laying the chassis harness back in, get all the lights and everything hooked up. And then eventually, Eric, that I'm building the 302 Jeep motor for, Eric will be coming over, and we will be wiring the motor with a Holley, I don't know if it's a Holley Terminator X, or whatever it is. I got to look at the box, but this will basically run on Holley. We'll get it all wired up, wired into the chassis, figure out somewhere for the little display unit, and we'll get it up and running and do some tuning on it. And at that point, we're ready to hand it back off to Jeff. And Jeff can finish all his little, I know he's got lots of plans for the interior, the exterior, bumpers and whatnot. So we're just going to get it up and running, driving, and then it's Jeff's again. So, and Jeff does have a YouTube channel also. The name is leaving me right now. I'll put it right here. See, that's it. And maybe in the future you'll see videos of this Bronco 2 on his channel. Don't know, but hopefully Jeff will eventually end up going on some off-road trips with our group of guys, and you'll see some of this thing in action. So I guess, okay, I'll get into it. First thing is I've already kind of started. I removed some of these original decals on the core support. I'm going to start sanding this down, get rid of all this rust, and start detailing this thing up. So let's get into it. So here's the finished result of the core support. It's got the front side done right now. Still gotta clean up, do the back side. Started Scotch-Brighting that fender apron. But anyway, gonna do a nice crisp transition from the fenders to the core. Leave that yellow. I took the latches and the safety catch, took those off, hit them with some rust encapsulator, then painted them just bare cast. I think it looks pretty good. But yeah, I like it. Makes this look nice. Once the aprons are done, the back side's done, we'll call that good. All right, the next order of business for this is I gotta fit the radiator. I'm gonna have to run this up to a buddy's shop, get some TIG welding done on it since I can't do that. But the radiator we got from Be Cool, this is specifically for an LS. It's a double pass radiator, so there's a divider right here in this tank. So the coolant will cross over, come in, make a loop, come back. I have the same kind in my Truggy also. Problem is the opening in the core support is just big enough for the radiator itself, but the cap sticks up too high, it hits. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this off. We're going to weld it shut, and then I have a 90-degree filler neck that will go here, and it should come out and clear the core support. So let me get this set in and I'll show you what I'm talking about. So there's the radiator. It fits that factory opening really well. I'm going to have good space for a shroud and the mechanical clutch fan. But like I said, the filler neck interferes there. So that's going to go away. I'll cut that off, weld it up, and I have this. This is a piece you can buy from Northern Radiator. So what I'll do is this will get welded basically right there. So that'll allow the radiator to tuck completely under the core, out of the way, and then this will actually, man, there's almost a almost a perfect notch right there, but it's just off a little bit. So anyway, that's what I gotta go have TIG welded at a friend's shop. So I'm gonna get this all fitted so I know it's all good. Make sure the location of this filler neck is correct, and then we'll get that done. First, I have to modify the bottom of the core. The core support at the bottom is rounded, and obviously the tanks on the radiator are squared off. So there's a little bit of metal down there I want to grind back, smooth out, get out of the way so it doesn't rub and wear through the aluminum radiator. So I'm going to go ahead and get that done. Once all that's done, I know this fits, I come up with some mounts, then I can go ahead and finish cleaning up the back side of the core support, and then I'll finish painting it black to match. Oh yeah, just for fun, I threw a black grill that I had in it just to see what it looked like. Okay, down here in the bottom of the core support, these edges right here I'm talking about. This piece right here, that's really sharp, and that's right where the radiator tank is going to sit on both sides. So I'm going to grind those down flat, get rid of that sharp edge. I'll probably lay a piece of thick rubber down in there, and then I'll see about my idea for the lower mount. I have an idea for that, which should be really simple. But anyway, I'll get this ground down, get it smoothed out, get it with some paint. At least that part will be done. Oh, and then I have a bunch of that cheap door edge guard. I'm going to line all these sharp edges all the way around here. So none of this, if the radiator, I don't want no chance of this metal edge touching the aluminum core of the radiator. So I'm going to protect all of this stuff here with some door edge guard too. Okay, got those ground down, no more sharp edges. Right there. Now I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna just hit the inside of this with the black paint, let that dry up. I'm gonna go ahead and start cutting on the radiator. Hopefully by the, I'm done with that, this will be dry. I can put on all the edge guard here, test fit the radiator, get my placement for the cap, and then we're moving on. Okay, cut that off, ground it smooth. Now I just gotta mock it up in there and figure out probably somewhere right in there. Drill a hole, clean it up, mount that right in there. It's still the highest point of the radiator. Whoopsie. Don't drop that, dummy. Then, core support. I don't know if you can see it very well, but got door edge guard on all of these back corners, or these back edges here. So we're good there. Nothing can harm the radiator. Okay, test fit number 2. Down inside. Oh, look at that. Like a glove. Perfect. And those edges seal right up to the sides. It's completely behind the core support. All right, just gonna hold it in place here, go get that 90-degree mark where I want it. Then we're off to get this welded up. So there are the lower mounts I came up with. Just some simple aluminum brackets, prop riveted to the bottom of the core. Kind of hooks the bottom edge of the radiator. Then I got some rubber and foam to lay in there, just to kind of isolate it a little bit. That will grab this bottom edge of the radiator. Nothing touches the tubes, nothing touches the tanks. They work perfectly. Okay, check this out. Here is upper radiator mount that I came up with. Basically all this is going to do is sandwich right up against the outside of the radiator, and then this will bolt into the core support. And with this in place, basically the radiator is going to be pinched between the framework of the core support where I put all that door edge guard and this, so it can't move and go back and forth. You have the ones on the bottom. Nice and simple. Should work. There it is installed. Got 3/4 20 nut certs in the core, some stainless cap screws. I just got to go to the hardware store. I got to pick up some thicker foam to put in the back side of that bracket. But that's it. Hooked on the bottom, hooked at the top. She ain't going nowhere. I like it. Heck yeah. I'm gonna call that done. Okay, that side of the engine bay is now done. It's painted, apron's painted. It's made a nice line right there at the firewall. Heater box will go in, cover up all that stuff. So it's good. Just gotta strip everything off this side, just cleaned up, sanded, treated, painted, and then that's it. Then I can go ahead and throw the radiator in for good and do these hoses. Now this side, everything's got to be pulled off so I can get to it and clean it. Well, that's the before. Okay, I got everything either pulled off or masked up that I don't want painted. That bracket I'm just going to leave on and paint with everything else. Brake lines taped up. Pull the wire harness off. That's out of the way. So I'm going to go ahead and hit all of this and the back side of the core. Rid of that yellow. Hit it with some rust encapsulator. Let it dry up and then hit it with the black. So I'm putting the driver's side back together now. Turned out really, really good. Paint looks good. Got a new washer bottle overflow tank coming for this. The original one was all busted out on the bottom. That turned out really nice. It's gonna look good under here. So I even got the original horns. I cleaned those up, hit them with some fresh paint. Hoses. I got the two upper hoses all taken care of. I got those figured out. I already test fit the original clutch fan. It goes right on, tons of clearance. It's gonna work out real good. The only problem that I'm gonna have is that lower radiator hose. The angle of the outlet on the motor and then the inlet there on the radiator tank, I've been out here cutting up radiator hoses, trying to splice stuff together, and I cannot get anything to make the bends that I need to have to make that fit. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going back up to my buddy's house, and let's see here. We're gonna cut that fitting off the radiator, and I'm gonna turn it so it, like right now it kind of faces up and towards the motor, and I need it to kind of go 90 degrees the other way. I need it to face up and towards the frame rail, and then this simple 90-degree hose will go right on. See, I'm close, but just I can't. I need a crazy weird hose to make this work. So it's gonna do one more modification to the radiator, and then that'll be fine. Once that's done, then all I have to do is finish up the heater hoses. I have a heater core bypass valve I'm gonna put in line, and then get the heater box installed on the firewall. And that will pretty much wrap up the cooling system on this. I can go ahead and fill it up with fluid, check it for leaks, and check that off the list. So let me get this radiator back out and cut off that neck and get ready to go have this modified again. Okay, got this mocked up. This was basically in that sort of orientation. Now, it's gonna be like that. That will line up perfectly with that simple 90-degree radiator or lower hose. So yeah, let's score down the street, get this tigged up again, and let's wrap this up. All right, so this side's all wrapped up. We got the heater box installed, just waiting on a blower motor. I got the heater hoses hooked up, and we have a coolant bypass. Just keeping it simple. This is open, that's closed. So in the summertime, when it's warm out, you can close it off. It'll just loop right here. Keep the hot coolant forever going in the cab. It'll make a big difference inside. Nice and simple. Could even reach it through the fender well. Got a power distribution block hooked up so I can grab all my big 12-volt power sources from there. And on this side, went with the newer style washer bottle since the original was broke. That's all hooked up. Just got to lengthen some wires and some hoses, and that'll work just fine. So, and we're getting there. We're getting there. All right, look at that. I am calling this a wrap. We have a complete cooling system now in an LS powered Bronco 2. Radiators in. I have all of the front chassis wire harness in for the headlights and the power for the cab. Fan is on, tons of room, looks great. Upper hose is on, lower hose is on. Look at that. Just reclocked that fitting on the radiator, re-welded it up. Nice, simple lower radiator hose. We got the heater core bypass. All I got to do is that orange lead, hook up that to the distribution block and the battery to it, and the rest of the truck should have power on everything. So, man, it turned out real good. I think there's plenty of room to get a shroud on it. Again, there's the hoses. Couldn't tell you what they are originally for. They're just stuff that I had around that I made work. But that's it. This part of the LS powered Bronco 2 is done. We're going to wrap that up here. Okay, that's going to put an end to this video, but not an end to this project. Still have the Holley computer system to wire up on the truck. I still have to figure out a transfer case, shifter, and just a few little small odds and ends. But cooling system, that part's done. Checking that off the list. So again, if you like this truck and you want to see more about it, make sure to go check out YouTube channel Build It, Wheel It, Explore It. All of the build of this truck is on that channel. And that's it. We will see you on the next one. Thanks for watching. Give it a like, share it, subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one. Bye.